let us see the second chapter, bipolar transistors, in the subject semiconductor devices, which carries you 40 marks, and in 40 marks it is divided as you have to write 2 questions for 5 marks and 3 questions for 10 marks. Okay. So, here I have listed some frequently asked questions, so which are already given to you and you have also solved them in the class. So, once again for repetition I am sending this video so that it will be refreshed for you. The same questions which we have solved in the class is given here. The outlines of the questions with the answers are summarized here. So, let us see the first chapter, the first question, that is explain how the transistor can be used as a switch. So, already we know that the transistor, when connected in common emitter mode, the output current is IC, that is the collector current, and the input current is IB, that is the base current. So, in common emitter configuration we know that the output current IC is equal to beta into IB. So, beta is nothing but the current amplification factor in common emitter configuration, IB is the input current, IC is equal to beta into IB. So, if IB is 0, then IC is also 0. That is, if IB is kept 0, there is no collector current flows here in the circuit, that is in RC. So, the transistor acts as a open switch, and if the base if the voltage is connected between base and emitter, then IB starts flowing, then output collector current is nothing but beta into IB. So, IB has some value multiplied by beta is equal to IC. So, the collector current which is equal to beta into IB starts flowing into the resistor RC, hence the transistor acts as a closed switch here. So, that is the transistor can be used as a open switch or closed switch depending on whether we apply IB or whether we do not apply IB. This gives, or this in this situation the transistor will act as a switch, either open switch or closed switch. Then what is the definition of the transistor? Define transistor and mention its types. The transistor is a 3-layered 3-terminal semiconductor device. It has 2 PN junctions formed by sandwiching a p type or n type semiconductor between a pair of opposite type. That is, the transistor is a 3-layered, 3 layers are there, PNP or NPN, 3 layers, and all those 3 layers are joined together will form 2 junctions, and if from all the 3 layers a terminal is extracted, then it becomes 3-terminal device. So, there are 2 types of transistors, NPN transistor and PNP transistor, and the transistor has 3 terminals, emitter, base and collector. The emitter is a terminal extracted from left side semiconductor layer, collector is the terminal extracted from right side semiconductor, then base is the terminal extracted from middle layer semiconductor. Now, coming to the working of NPN transistor. So, let us see how the NPN transistor works. So, for that you refer this diagram which will give you the picture, clear idea how the transistor works. So, here for the transistor, one thing you remember, always the input junction is forward biased and the output junction is reverse biased. You can observe here the input junction is forward biased and the output junction is reverse biased. That is, the negative terminal is connected to N type and positive terminal is connected to P type. So, input is forward biased and also the output is reverse biased. You can observe here the positive terminal is connected to N type, negative terminal is connected to P type. Okay. The input is forward biased and output is reverse biased, and this is an NPN transistor. From this the working can be explained like this. See, as negative is connected to n type, as negative is connected to n type, the majority charge carriers, the majority charge carriers, the majority charge carriers in n type, which are electrons, are repelled from the negative terminal of the battery, and they will try to move towards the base, they will try to move towards the base, and for the base there is positive connected, for the base there is positive of the terminal, positive terminal of the battery is connected. So, those electrons are also attracted towards the positive terminal which is connected to the base. So, they will repel, they will be repelled from negative terminal, they are attracted towards the positive terminal, though they will try to rush towards the base. When they reach the base, and as the base is very lightly doped, few number of holes which are present in the base are combined with electrons, which forms the base current, which is very small as the base is lightly doped. The electrons which cross the junction and which come into the base are again attracted towards the positive terminal of the output battery, which is connected to the collector. Because of that attraction, from the base they will run towards the collector, they will run towards the collector. So, this constitutes the collector current. To repeat once again, the charge, the majority charge carriers of n type, those are electrons, are repelled from the negative terminal of the input battery, they will rush towards the base, inside the base they will recombine with holes, will constitute the base current, remaining electrons will flow to collector because of attraction towards the positive terminal of the output battery, which will constitute the collector current. Now, coming to the definition of alpha and beta. The alpha is nothing but, the alpha is the current amplification factor in common base configuration. In common base configuration, the collector current is the output current and emitter current is the input current. So, the current amplification factor is nothing but output current divided by the input current, or in general output divided by input. So, the output is collector current divided by the input is emitter current. So, alpha is equal to collector current divided by emitter current. So, the collector current is lesser than, smaller than the emitter current. So, alpha will always be less than 1, whereas beta is the current amplification factor in common emitter configuration. In common emitter configuration, the output current is collector current, the input current is base current. So, the current amplification factor is output divided by input, that is the collector current divided by the base current. So, beta is collector current divided by base current. The base current is very small compared to the collector current. So, beta always ranges from 20 to 500. Now, coming to the input output characteristics of NPN transistor in common base mode. So, to plot the input characteristics in common base mode, a curve is drawn. The input characteristics is nothing but it is the curve between the emitter current IC and emitter base voltage VCB at constant collector base voltage, at constant collector base voltage, by taking emitter current along y axis and emitter base voltage along x axis as shown in figure. See in this figure, phi BE, the voltage between base and emitter is taken along x axis, the IE, that is the emitter current, is taken along y axis, and the input characteristics are similar to the forward characteristics of the diode. So, see here the knee voltage is different for different, the knee voltage is different for different this VCB. Okay. So, at VCB the different values of VCB will give you different knee voltages. The output characteristics is nothing but it is the curve between collector current IC and collector base voltage VCB at constant emitter current by taking collector current along y axis and collector base voltage along x axis, that is shown in the figure, IC is taken along y axis and VCB is taken along x axis. So, here you can observe as the VCB increases, the IC also increases, and some point here at this point the collector current remains constant. After that point the collector current remains almost constant. This is because in the transistor the charge carriers emitted by emitter are collected by the collector. So, if all the charge carriers emitted by the emitter are collected by the collector, then no more charge carriers, so collector current remains same, that is constant. Okay, you can see at different values of IE is kept constant here, at different values of IE, okay, the IC is remaining constant for different values, that we know that. So, IC is almost equal to IE, okay, that is IE is actually IE is equal to IB plus IC, that is emitter current is equal to base current plus collector current. So, base current is very small, we can neglect it. So, we can say IE is almost equal to IC. Now, if we kept IE is equal to 1 milliampere, then as VCB is increased, okay, so IC increases up to 1 milliampere and remains constant at 1 milliampere. And if IE is kept at 2 milliampere, IC remains at 2 milliampere. If IE is kept at 3 milliamperes, IC also remains constant at 3 milliamperes. Okay. Now, this is the circuit diagram which is used to measure, which is used to plot the input output characteristics. Here the voltmeters and emitters are used to measure different voltages and currents. So, by milliammeter IE and ICs are measured, by voltmeters VBE, that is the voltage between base and emitter, and voltage between collector and base are measured. Now, coming to the input output characteristics of NPN transistor in CE mode. Input characteristics, it is the curve between base emitter voltage and base current at constant collector emitter voltage by taking base current along y axis and base emitter voltage along x axis as shown in figure. So, VBE is along x axis, IB is along y axis, and VCE is kept constant at different voltages. For different VCE, the knee voltage of the junction changes, and hence this is the curve, and the curve looks very similar to the forward characteristics of semiconductor diode. Now, coming to the output characteristics of NPN transistor in CE configuration, it is the curve between collector current along y axis and collector emitter voltage along x axis as shown in the figure CE. VC is taken along x axis, IC is taken along y axis, and IB is kept constant. IB is kept constant. So, from this graph we can see that as VCE is increased, so IC is increased and remains constant at some point. Okay. So, see, observe here at this point, and this point. After these 3 points, the IC is remaining constant. This is because we know IC is equal to beta into IB. IC is equal to beta into IB. So, if IB is kept at 5 microampere, then IC remains constant at the value beta into IB. So, almost IC is independent of VCE. Now, this is the circuit diagram used to plot the input output characteristics in common emitter configuration. See in the diagram, emitter is common for both input circuit and the output circuit. Now, coming to the comparison of common base, common emitter and common collector mode. So, below is given the comparison, you can go through this. Input resistance is very low in common base, low in common emitter, very high in common collector. Output resistance very high in common base, high in common emitter, less in common collector. Voltage gain is about 150 in common base, about 500 in common emitter, less than 1 in common collector. Current gain less than 1 in common base, current gain ranges from 20 to 500 in common emitter, less than 1 in common collector. Similarly, the other parameters. Now, coming to the applications of the transistor, main application of the transistor is transistor can be used as a switch, and transistor can be used as a amplifier. Okay, the transistor in common emitter mode is very suitable for the amplifier circuit. The transistors are used in oscillators, the transistors are also used as switches, the transistor is used in multivibrators, the transistors are used in regulators, etc. Now, what is PNP transistor and NPN transistor? This already we have discussed in the first question, or I think in second question. So, what is NPN transistor? NPN transistor is nothing but it is the transistor formed by sandwiching a thin layer of P type semiconductor in between two layers of N type semiconductors, whereas the PNP transistor is one which is formed by sandwiching thin layer of N type semiconductor in between two P type semiconductors. This shows the symbol of NPN transistor. In this symbol you can observe, you can remember like this. The arrow mark is shown, that arrow mark is always the emitter and the head of the arrow mark is N. So, emitter is N, base is P, collector is N. So, it is NPN transistor and this is the symbol of PNP transistor. See, head of the arrow mark is towards base. So, base is N. So, emitter is P, collector is P. So, it is PNP transistor. Now, coming to how the transistor can be used as amplifier. For amplification, the transistor is always used in common emitter configuration. So, the common emitter configuration is very suitable for amplification, because in common emitter configuration the current amplification factor ranges from the value 20 up to 500. That is, the output current is equal to the input current multiplied by the amplification factor. So, the circuit see here in the circuit diagram it is shown, the output current, that is IC, we know that IC is equal to beta into IB and beta ranges from 20 to 500. So, suppose if beta is 20 and IB is 1 microampere, then IC will become 20 microampere, that is 1 microampere is increased to 20 microamperes. Okay. So, the amplifier, the process of increasing the strength of signal without any change in the shape is called as amplification. The transistor is used in CE mode for amplifier as shown in figure. When no input signal is applied, a DC current flows through RC called zero signal collector current. During positive half cycle of the input signal, the forward bias across the base emitter junction increases. This causes increase in collector current and more voltage drop across RC. During negative half cycle of the forward bias across the base emitter junction decreases, the collector current decreases. This results in decreased output voltage across RC. Now, next question is explain three transistor configurations. First transistor configuration is common base configuration. Here the input is applied between base and emitter, the output is taken from collector and emitter terminals. In this, the base terminal is common for both input and output, hence the name is common base configuration. You can refer the circuit diagram here. The input is applied between emitter and base, the output is taken from base and collector. Base is common for both input circuit and output circuit. So, it is common base configuration. In common emitter configuration, the input is applied between base and emitter, output is taken from emitter and collector. Here as shown in figure, emitter is common for input circuit as well as for output circuit. So, the name is common emitter configuration. So, in common collector configuration, the collector is common as shown in figure, collector is common for both input and output, hence the name common collector configuration. Now, what is the relation between alpha and beta? There is a small derivation, you can go through this derivation. So, beta will be is equal to alpha divided by 1 minus alpha. Okay. Then the alpha is derived in terms of beta. So, alpha is equal to beta divided by 1 by beta. Now, some problems will be asked in the question. So, a problem is like this, transistor has beta is equal to 200. If collector current is 20 milliampere, what is the value of IE, that is the emitter current? We can calculate like this. We know that beta is equal to IC divided by IB. The value of IC is given. So, from this equation I can calculate. Okay. I can calculate here the value of IB. Okay. So, IB is equal to 1 0.1 milliampere I am getting from the above calculation. Now, we know that I is equal to IB plus IC. So, by putting the values of IB and IC, we will get I is equal to 20.1 milliampere. So, this is how the problems must be solved. This is already I have solved many problems in the classroom, go through them. Calculate the value of beta if alpha is equal to 0.9. We know that, okay, from the derivation we know that beta is equal to alpha divided by 1 minus alpha. So, by putting the value of alpha, we can easily calculate the value of beta. So, emitter is heavily doped and base is lightly doped, you have to justify this. So, see here, already we know that the base emitter, in the emitter and base, the current is by majority charge carriers. In transistor, we know that the base current is very small compared to the emitter current, or almost negligible if we compare with the emitter current. So, this is because the emitter is heavily doped and base is lightly doped. Okay. Next, coming to what is heat sink. Okay. So, the transistor in circuit, the transistor, if it is connected in the circuit and if the current flows in the transistor, and there is a tendency that the transistor gets heated, and if that heat is not controlled or if that heat is not dissipated properly, the transistor is overheated and gets damaged. So, to avoid that, we have to use the heat sink. So, heat sink is simply a thermal conductive metal device designed to absorb and disperse the heat away from high temperature object. The heat sinks are made up of metals such as aluminum alloy, copper, etc., and are attached to the object of which the heat is to be removed. Okay. What are the methods? What is the method to select the heat sink? Okay. To select the heat sink, the following points are to be taken care. The heat sink should be in good contact with transistor. Second, it should be a metal, it should be metal coated with black color, because black color absorbs the heat. Then next, mounted such that free air should flow through it, should have largest possible area. So, it should be mounted such that free air should flow, means if free air is allowed to flow through the heat sink, more amount of temperature can be dispersed to the air. Then next, it should have a largest possible area. The area of heat sink, if it is more amount of heat is extracted from the object. Thank you. Please go through the slide and be prepared, and if any doubts, text me or call me.